Now this is the original Venturi I had. I might take it out and put it in the fish tank. This design here has an extender tube on it that has some spirals. And you know, to be honest, it's really quite good. I mean, there's a huge flow of bubbles coming out. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see if I can turn that down. I don't have one of those valves. I just have my homemade little valve thing. I'll put some tape on there, but the light is making it hard to see because it needs a shadow, I think, to see those bubbles. See if I can get a little darker in here. But yeah, you can see that that's really cranking them out too. And again, they're pretty small, but again, they're not as small as version 2 of my design. So that's right off Tinkercad with a spiral adapter I created. I'll put that in the fish tank and we'll see what happens. Okay, just before I put it in the fish tank, I thought I would kind of take that adapter off and just show you how big the throat area is. Whoa. And the you know, the air intake was quite big too. This is right off Thingiverse. Can't remember who did it. I'll have to look and see if I can give credit if I make a video out of this. But this is just a simple Venturi valve, very quick to print overall. And then I made this adapter. As you can see, I've heard that spiraling the water in may create smaller bubbles, so I tried to make a spiral adapter here. We can try it with and without, but you can maybe get a look in there. I don't know. Can you see in there at all? It's hard to see. There's just like a helix pattern cut in there. All right, so it's back in the fish tank now, and I've got it going. I'm gonna kind of hold it back here and just twist this screw. See if I can introduce some air in there and see what we can do. Okay, I have it back on. I have reversed it. And you can see it's not a bad little device. It has lots of bubbles, big volume of air. But look how big they are. Some of them out here in the periphery are small. But let's try to reduce this. I'm turning it right here like this clockwise. I'm gonna see how small bubbles I can get. I mean, right now, I love the air volume, but I don't like the size. Some of them are okay, but again, we want microbubbles. Well, at least we believe we want microbubbles. Okay, now I'm getting sputtering. Got it way down. Quite a bit of sputtering. I'm getting smaller bubbles for sure. I don't see those big coalescing bubbles on top. So this might be good enough. It might actually be superior just because the volume of bubbles is more than with the microbubbles. But I can't believe that you get as much oxygen with these kind of bubbles, even though there's more of them. Let me continue to turn it down. So I don't think the valve is really any different than this. You know, this broken valve that I tried. I'll try to turn it down a little more. Just have to find the right screw that fits in there and has a lot of threads the right threads that seal it off as you twist. So that's about the limit I can get here. I mean, it's sputtering. See, those are not really considered microbubbles, if you ask me. I'll keep trying to turn a little more here. Now I've essentially, it seems like I've turned it off. Maybe there are microbubbles. Let's take a closer look. There's sputtering. There's some sputtering there, but it's essentially shut off here. Let me try to just add a little bit back. Okay, here we go. So we're sputtering out some microbubbles probably. But I'm really not happy with that. Version 2 that I mentioned, that one I made, is way better. But let me go ahead and put the spiral valve on and see if we can compare with and without. And now you can see, honestly, way smaller bubbles. So the spiral valve does work. I've just confirmed it. With a normal Venturi, the spiral valve is definitely effective. I wouldn't call it as good microbubbles as version 2, but way smaller than without the valve. Let me try to turn this down just a little bit more. Right here. See what kind of small bubbles I can get. I mean, I'm quite amazed. That spiral valve really did work. I got some other varieties too that I have made. It's starting to sputter. But look at those microbubbles there. Can you see those? I don't know if that shows up there. Let's see, I think if I pull it up to the black there, you can see better. And over here, you can definitely see there's quite a few. Not bad, really. Not bad. Okay. If I tighten it up even more, you theoretically should get smaller bubbles, but you might stop the airflow totally. There's an improvement with that spiral adapter, whatever kind you make. At least the ones that I have here. They're kind of helixes that were turned into holes when they were. Okay, so now they're getting some big bubbles. This one's a lot shorter than the one I had previously used here, I believe. This one I tried to make, but it cracked. You can almost see the spirals in it. Putting this on, no, the shadow's better. See the inner, it was cut really close. That's probably why it broke. But you can kind of see this, the helical spiral I put in there. This one's a little thicker, much thicker, so it did not break. This is probably a better design than that. This one here was kind of I think the second version. You can kind of see the spiral there in the middle. Got close, but yeah, let's tighten this up and just see if we can get smaller bubbles. I don't think so, but I think the spiral does help reduce the bubble size overall. There's wide open. If I turn it down, again, this is just the standard Tinkercad Venturi that I started with. I won't even call it version 1 because it's really not my Tinkercad design. I just shrunk it down to fit on the tube of the pump in a Prusa slicer. Let me tighten it up again. And we're trying to tighten this little screw. I need to find a better system, don't I? For air control. Oh, getting smaller bubbles now. Tighter, stop. Yeah, that spiral didn't work as good as the original one. Let me try the original one. Oh, now it's much smaller. Bubbles again with the original one, but it was my bad. I had the spiral on the outside, the outtake, instead of the inside, that last one that I just took off and cracked. But you want to have it on the intake. I've tried it on the outtake. I've seen some articles that mentioned, you know, oh, you need to have spiral on the outtake, but I don't see it. I see it on the intake working way better. Okay, these bubbles are really small. There's no coalescing. So with the regular Venturi, you can get pretty good bubbles, no champagne popping on top. Not as good as version 2, probably not as good as version 1. And if I tighten this even more, I might be able to get more smaller bubbles, but I tell you what, it's sputtering, so no laminar flow there. I could try to open it up a little more. But wow, I'm kind of happy. I don't see a lot of coalescing on top. I don't see a lot of large bubbles. It's pretty uniform, small bubbles. I would definitely recommend, if you're going to go with any Venturi, put a spiral intake tube before the Venturi starts. And whatever hole diameter throat you have or air intake, you're likely to have an improvement in small, consistent bubble size.